We are broadcasting live on the road today. We're at Pearl River Resort for the inaugural Mississippi Farm Bureau Feeding the Hungry fundraiser. And Mike McCormick joins us this morning. He's president of the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation, and glad to get to finally have this visit. I've been looking forward to this.
Well, glad to finally meet you. You're not in our office in Jackson, so I don't get the chance to just walk down the hall and say hello. It's the first time I've been on your show, and look forward to being with you this morning.
Thank you very much. Good and bad in not being in Jackson.
Yeah, we wish you were there.
Well, that's kind of you to say, and there are days that I wish I was there. Then there are days where a little separation is probably not the worst thing. Let's start with this fundraiser. Henry talked a little bit about the two of you putting your heads together, you coming to him and saying, hey, we need to do something. We need to, through the Federation, make sure that we are contributing to Mississippi.
Yes, and I can't thank Henry enough. He's a great team player, a great partner of ours with Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. Of course, the insurance company is our number one member benefit. That's why you got to be a member to be involved. But Henry's a great team player, and when we sat down and talked about it, I said, Henry, it's in my heart that we need to be giving back as farmers to those that are less fortunate to us. And I can't think of a better thing that we could do than Farmers Feeding the Hungry and helping the Mississippi Food Network make sure that there's no child going to bed hungry in the state of Mississippi, no elderly people that don't have enough food in their pantry to make it through the end of the month. What could we do to help the Mississippi Food Network make sure that we annihilate hunger for the state of Mississippi? So we started talking about this and this event and him getting all of his agent friends involved with this, and a lot of our partners that partner with us with Farm Bureau to make sure all of our business side of things work to come together to have a really fun time today and tomorrow, and also collect some money for a great cause.
Yeah, and a lot of money already been raised. Some of those statistics that you kind of talked around there are pretty staggering. I mean, the nationwide food insecurity affects a little over 13% of our country. That number's bigger in Mississippi. It's nearly 20%, 18.5% in Mississippi. It's crazy when you think about it in terms of if you line 10 people up, 2 out of 10 don't have enough to eat.
And we don't always see that, right? It's the people that are kind of in the backgrounds that are struggling and having a hard time. But Farm Bureau is such a part of rural Mississippi, and we have a county office in all counties. We have board of directors there that are there just trying to make their place that they live in a better place to live. And this is just a perfect fit for us. I think it's in my heart. I think Luke 12:48 says, "To whom much is given, much is required." We as farmers have been given so much. It's not the best time in farming, right? It's a hard time out there, and financials aren't the best in the world. But I bet everybody that knows a farmer has stopped by and got a mess of sweet corn or given some tomatoes. And our farmers are just so benevolent and kind-hearted. They take care of their families. They take care of their workers. They help take care of Mississippi and our nation. So this is a great fit for us to showcase our farmers and showcase our members giving back to a worthy cause.
I want to get into some of the difficulties of farming in a second, but before we do that, people hear Farm Bureau and they don't necessarily spell it out as Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance or the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. I know you've been asked this question many times. How do you quickly explain, okay, this is who we are as an organization and this is kind of how it separates?
Well, our attorney says if you drew it up on an organizational map, you wouldn't draw it up this way, but we made it work for almost 100 years. Farm Bureau was set up just to solve problems for farmers, and in the 1940s, one of the things that came to the front lines were farmers and people that lived in rural areas couldn't get insurance. So the actual farmers of the state of Mississippi pooled their money together to create this insurance company that we had. They had a meeting in the Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee, and they actually popped a line on a map and said, we want the home offices to be in Jackson, Mississippi. So a conglomerate of states came together and put some umbrella organizations together, which is Southern Farm Bureau Life that's out on 220, Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company that's just down the street from us. We operate in a lot of different places But here in Mississippi, under Mississippi Casualty Insurance Company, in our office there in Jackson. So it just came up out of an idea, and I think most of the insurance companies, and I won't mention their names, around the United States that you might recognize, had their roots in a farm bureau. It had a roots like we need to put this together to help people. Now, a lot of people will write insurance in the rural areas of the state, but that's sort of our market, and that's where we are in all 82 counties, making sure that our members are taken care of.
And that's the unique part about Farm Bureau, right, is there are different branches of Farm Bureau in different states, but each branch is so collectively work together, but focused individually on Mississippi Farm Bureau focused on Mississippi. Kentucky focuses on Kentucky, and so on.
Yeah, they each have their insurance companies and all responsible for what their state's doing. But we come together. We have a reinsurance company that helps us called American Ag that works with all the Farm Bureau companies. So all of that works together hand in hand. Our county boards are all farmers. They're just there to work on behalf of farmers and the farm issues of the state. As you move up, our state board of directors, again, are just there for to watch over the policies that we have in place to make sure that our grassroots are represented in the way that they want to. But we do have seats on the board of directors of the insurance company. We have 3 seats on the casualty board and 2 seats on the life board. And I get to serve on both of those. And a few years ago was fortunate enough to be elected chairman of the board of Southern Farm Bureau Life. So I spend a lot of my time running our business interests, but my heart is as a farmer is in the issues that affect our grassroots. So I never get too far from that being my daily life, but we have business interests, and I have to deal with that.
I feel like you spend a lot of time on an airplane too.
I was on an airplane Monday and Tuesday with all my Southern Farm Bureau friends up in Knoxville, Tennessee. We had a Southern Farm Bureau president's meeting, and it was great. It's good to hear everything that they're doing in their state and listening to what their legislature is talking about. It's a lot of things that we're talking about here in Mississippi. So when we know what's going on in other states, we have a pretty good handle about what's going to happen here.
This is we'll continue this after the break. This is a conversation that's far more than 3 minutes. You alluded to it a second ago. It is a difficult time for farmers on a lot of different levels, whether you're talking about input costs or prices or tariffs related to exports, or just the inability for a small farmer to be able to operate. I mean, to me, that's one of the tragic things that has happened. You know, the person that's farming or was farming a few hundred acres, that's almost obsolete. It's a few thousand acres just to kind of make it work because of just the pricing. Where is the industry right now?
Well, the good thing about the state of Mississippi is our number one agricultural commodity is poultry, and you can still take that 200 acres and build you some chicken houses on it and make a good living. Yeah. It's a hard living. You got to be there with it every day and work hard, but those farms are growing in the state of Mississippi. Gets harder with the row crop side of things. You just got to get bigger in scale to make it all work. Combines, cotton pickers, sprayers are all costing in excess of $1 million now. So the capital need makes it really hard to get young people in this business. And now with the profit margins just non-existent, I worry about how we're going to attract the next generation of farmers.
Talked with Ag Commissioner Andy Gibson some about this, and he talked about the number of farms that shut down this year. And, you know, you've got generational farmers who said, you know, the next generation can't just do it, you know, lease the land, sell the land, whatever it is. How big of a concern is it when you look across the board and you see that a significant percentage of farms are saying we just can't do it anymore?
Well, we had those that had some heavy stressors on them file bankruptcy this past year, or just quit and got out and are looking for something else to do. I think it's going to be dependent this year if they can find some money, find a profit margin to bail back in some of the losses that they've had over the last couple of years. They went heavy with corn, I think, in the Mississippi Delta this year. If they yield enough, if we get the right growing conditions, there could be a small profit at the end of it that would keep them going. But I think a lot of the people that have been around for a long, long time and have made money are just saying, I'm not going to take everything that I worked for in my lifetime and throw it away. So you're going to have those set of farmers that may just call it a day. And then you're going to have the younger farmers that may not have built up enough equity in their farm yet that are going to struggle getting finances going into next year. So we're really concerned, but farmers are eternally optimistic people. And right now they've got crops in the ground, they're growing good, and they're out there doing what they do best, which is grow crops. And in August, we'll come back when the combines are running and see what we did for this year. And hopefully it's going to be enough to get them into next year.
Absolutely. Mike McCormick visiting with us, president of the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. On the other side, let's talk a little bit about the Farm Bill. What's going on? Will there ever be a new Farm Bill? Can they help in Washington, D.C., and more? Mornings with Richard Cross, broadcasting live from Pearl River Resort. It's the Mississippi Farm Bureau Feeding the Hungry fundraiser.
Back, down, no inch.
In fact, we were talking about it earlier. He's like, I don't want to cook anything. I just want to eat. We're going to put a hurting on it. What is it about Farm Bureau agents that makes them good cooks?
You know, not only are they good cooks, you can tell I don't miss any meals. We call it the Farm Bureau 15. If I go, one of the things I do is try to get into all counties of the state every year to listen to what's going on. And those agents, they're going to make sure that we're fed well when we come into their home counties, but they're very competitive. So tomorrow's a golf tournament. They're very competitive with that, but they're very competitive with this cooking. And even my staff, a lot of times we'll grill things, and the legislature will come by if they're in town and eat with us and break bread with us, but they all think that they're the best cooks. So today we're going to really find out through some professionals who does it the best, and I can tell you behind the scenes, they've all got their secret sauce that they've got going on, and it's just going to be a really fun time today.
You got Henry going the other way. It's like the Farm Bureau minus 15 or minus 50 or minus 70.
Doesn't he look great?
Yeah, he does.
Look, no shots, no pills. He just decided he was going to be healthy, that we needed him around to help direct this thing, and he's doing a great job of it.
Don't you know he wakes up in the morning and just stands in front of the mirror and says, man, I look good. I bet he does that every single day.
Yeah, I'm not sure his wife will agree with you.
Well,
but,
that's probably true. Visiting with Mike McCormick. He's the president of the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation, and talking about farmers and what's going on. I do have this is a very deep philosophical question here. Mm-hmm. What is it about a tractor that allows you to separate from the rest of the world and find your happy place?
Well, I think if you're out there doing whatever you're doing, if you're in a row crop setting or cattle setting doing hay, you got to focus on what you're doing on that tractor. There's a lot of things going on at one time. It's a lot of gauges, a lot of instruments on there that you got to be paying attention to, and you can't do that worrying about your day job. You can't do that worrying about all the problems in life. You got to focus on the work at hand. So you're out there, and the rest of the world just has to take some time off, and you can fix that when you get through with whatever you're doing on that tractor. But it's a great feeling to feel the earth in your hands, or to have your own farms. I don't know too many people that dream in life and to say, man, I wish I could raise my family on a farm and be part of that culture. So
I've got a friend in Oxford that's got a nice place right outside of town, and if things really get busy, I'll tell my wife, hey, I need to run out to the farm. I'll just go get on a tractor, bush hog for an hour. It's like it's the best way to just kind of clear your head and get going.
Absolutely.
We were talking before the break about the fact that it's hard right now for farmers, and at the most basic level, you'll hear people say, input costs are way up and prices are not keeping up, and you just can't kind of make the two ends meet to survive. But if you take it a step farther, there's some pretty significant issues. Some of those are labor related, and the labor force within the farming community has changed. You've got the I guess it's the H-2A program with migrant workers that are coming in, and some difficulties related to that. When farmers are coming to you and they're saying, hey, we've got to find a solution to this, we need help with this, how do you respond, and what does that look like at both the state level and the federal level?
Well, from a federal level, the H-2A program is our number one issue that we talk about with American Farm Bureau. I have a seat on the board of directors with them, and it's just a huge problem no matter what sector, whether it's dairy farms livestock operations. I was in Denver last week talking about how they couldn't find people to work in the feed yards and through the livestock sector. But the row crop farmers really have a job to where they've probably got about 9-10 months of the year that they've got things really ginning and really going. But then there's a couple of months of downtime, and the H-2A program, the legal guest worker program, works for them because you can bring in somebody from another country. They can work here and then go back home to their families until they're needed again. But the program itself was built in the 1950s. It's out of date. It doesn't work for the farmers. You have to have an attorney to keep you legal, and the Department of Labor sometimes treats farmers like they're criminals for using it. But in my opinion, the legal guest worker system stems illegal immigration. If they can just come here, take a job that nobody else wants, you got to advertise it in the paper. If nobody accepts the job offer, then you can go back into the H-2A program and offer that to come to the United States. It's not below minimum wage work. Actually, it's a lot more than minimum wage.
Up over $14 an hour, isn't it?
So they're paid well while they're here. You got to provide housing for them. A lot of different things that the transportation. So, and then it's heavily regulated, so everybody's looking over your shoulders to make sure they're taken care of. The bottom line is we can import our labor, or we can import our food here to the United States. No one wants to pick your vegetables or milk your cows and those sort of things. We've got to have a labor force. The H-2A program works. It's a good program. It needs to be revisited, and it's just really hard to do that in Congress right now.
Yeah. So that is a significant piece of it, but we're also, 2.5 years into now operating without a farm bill. There have been some stopgap measures that have been put in, and that's helped, but it certainly hasn't made whole. And there's this level of uncertainty that farmers have where they're like, okay, I don't know what the program is year to year. I'm just hoping, and that's a really tough way to go through business.
So it's out of date. Inflation's flowed through their books of business, and all the pricing through crop protection models through our insurance, crop insurance that we use, are based off of old numbers that don't trigger and that don't work. So they're paying in insurance, but they can't collect anything off of it. We've got to get a new farm bill. It's tough to do that right now. On one side wants to reduce SNAP benefits, the other one doesn't care about the farm programs because they're all in urban settings. So we haven't been able to get it done. We haven't been able to get it across the finish line. We're hopeful and hearing that by the end of the year that there'll be a CR that comes through, that they're going to take all the things that are money related in a farm bill and get it passed that way. So next year, hopefully, we can get the rest of it across the finish line. But what the people need to understand is when you hear farm bill, you're only talking about 20% or less that actually go to the farmer.
That's where I was headed.
Of it goes somewhere else. So the farmers are kind of held hostage with that, and the reason is because a congressman from Mississippi decades ago, Jamie Whitten, saw the way that the United States was going, that most of the congressional districts, the House members are elected from metropolitan and urban areas. They would never vote for a farm bill. So he tied nutrition and the farm bill together, and we've been able to pass them. But as we've gone through the years, it just becomes more and more and more difficult to get something over the finish line.
So that was initially with good intention.
Very good intention.
And yet, when I asked the question today, would it not make sense to separate the farm bill from so the SNAP program and the welfare programs? It feels like it would make a lot of sense because those have become so big and so bloated. But I've also heard people say that's an absolute non-starter. Like there's no chance.
I don't know how you're going to get somebody that represents Chicago or New York City, all those congressmen to vote for a farm bill for us out in rural America when they don't have any of that in their district. So you're going to have to figure some way of tying people in big cities to be able to support the farmers here with programs that we need. And maybe there is a way to do it, but us at Farm Bureau, I really don't see that happening. It used to be, and it should still be, the only place that we could find bipartisan support is on farm issues. You could get a Democrat, a Republican, they're at each other's throats on all the other issues. They could come together and say, everybody knows we got to keep our farmers in business. We have the cheapest, most affordable food, the least subsidized in the whole world. So we've got to keep those programs going because it's so volatile. The farmers don't get to control anything. They don't get to control their input prices. They don't get to control what they're selling their crops or their livestock for. All of that, the weather's out of their control. So you have to have these insurance products and other things in there to work. But you also have to have the support of people that may not live in rural areas. And so that's the reason that it's still stuck together in the Farm Bill.
Last thing for you, the president obviously has a lot on his plate right now. I mean, he's dealing with the global tariff situation and budget bills and all of those things. Where on his priority list do you believe getting the Farm Bill done is?
I think it's high up there. I think we're concerned about trade, and he's working on that right now. I've had a chance to talk to Secretary Brooke Rollins. She came to one of our board meetings and actually had to leave early going back to the White House to talk about trade. I understand that we probably got about 17 or 20 countries now with deals basically in place. I was told this morning that India may be one of those. It's a huge country.
That's a big deal.
That would be a major windfall for us. So I think farmers are eternally optimistic. We've got to get we got to get trade back.
Special day here at Pearl River Resort. It's the Mississippi Farm Bureau Feeding the Hungry fundraiser. Farmers are feeding all of us, and Farm Bureau is trying to make sure that all Mississippians are fed. Mike McCormick, president of the Farm Bureau Federation, thanks so much for your time.
Hey, thank you, Richard, for being out here with us. We're going to have a great time today.